Hello, everybody. It's the Abstractionist. I'm here with Saturn 20 Spring 2023. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to adjust this. This shit is just not adjusting. It's not adjusting how I want. Okay, there we go. That may be how you feel. Shit, it's just not going how you want it to go. Like, I try to do this, and this shit happens. And I try to do that, and that shit happens. And it's just blowing up. So things just may be really, I don't know, icky for you. So, there's that. Okay. Wow, having such a lot going on. So I'm using two decks. Astro Alignment deck, which is the round one. Oh my god, this thing is not. And then Inversion Tarot, which is the actual tarot deck that I'm using. So let's get into this bitch. I'm feeling kind of happy. Okay. Full of dreams. Full of luck. Full of mystery. So, Saturn, usually, I'm not saying within someone's chart, but Saturn, Capricorn, 10th house, things like that. So, you may question, so here's the thing. Some people, we break out of our molds, right? Our societal modes. The things that we do because they please other people and because, sorry, let's rewind. So you may, because I'm doing all of this, re-explaining and stuff like that, you may have to reintroduce yourself or reintroduce the concept to people more than once, reiterate it, reinforce it, whatever you want to call it. So, and it's also a reintroduction, but a refinement as you refine it and then you reintroduce it, you refine it and reintroduce it, because there's certain angles perhaps of what you're trying to explain to people. And what I mean by explain to people is through your life's work, life's experience, life's just showing, is constantly being uprooted or shifted, changed in some way. And so you have to keep reinventing yourself, but also reinventing how people see you and how you explain what people are seeing to them. Because this whole process that you're going through is kind of really shifting a lot. So, back to what I was saying. Usually you're shifting away from the societal expectations, I feel like. But there is a need to understand that these parameters, this box that you were placed in, really kept you safe for as long as it could. And it kept you safe enough. The changes that you would have made, the shifts that you would have made, I can say this as someone who is shifting, would have been very premature based on the skill set that you had up until that point. So basically what we're boiling down to is you needed a certain skill set to move on to the next level. You didn't have it. As a result, you had to wait and grow and lose things. And so people are meeting the fifth iteration you publicly, right? And I mean publicly as in like society, like your friends and family have seen, you know, version 1, 2, 3, and 4. But society hasn't really caught on to the fact that you have shifted. And they will once you reintroduce version 5. And I don't know why 5 is like very important. Maybe version 5 of your business, version 5 of your like your hairstyle. It could be version 5. It could be anything. Like whatever you've done like multiple times. It's not secretly, but not a lot of people would have known about it. You've done this more than one time. This time that you do it, you'll bring it to the forefront of like societal consciousness. And what I mean by societal consciousness is not necessarily like you're the most famous person out there in your field, but you are making significant contributions for the area that you're in. Even if it's just like a local thing, like what you're contributing does get the attention of people who will then want to collaborate, who then will, you know, perhaps put you in link with larger networks and larger pools of like visibility. And so these structures kind of keep you safe. In many ways, you have to grapple with the idea that these structures kept you from certain disappointments, because Saturn really doesn't want you to be naive about a lot of things. And so you can think about it as kind of like a holding pattern, like a waiting period. So you didn't have to kind of like go through a lot of this stuff. So what it does seem like though is that you perhaps also didn't have the capacity to endure. So you know how like we try to say in spirituality that a lot of people who go through really hard things can go through them because they needed to go through them, or they had the capacity to get through them. You just may not be a person who has like a very energetically high threshold when compared to other people. But for the experience that you're living, it's a high stress or high karma or whatever. It's tailored to you. Your karma is tailored to you. You know, like there's certain incidents in people's lives that break them, and you know, you have essentially been weeded, like pushed into other avenues, because if it goes left, it would have broken you, and whatever you need to explore or share with the world needs to be done. And so they don't need all these detours. So as few hardships as possible that would break you have appeared. And that is not a belittling of any experience, because some people could have been like homeless, some people could have lost their jobs, some people could have been in like domestic violence situations, but and that's like a trigger. But the extent to which it got, this is gonna be so weird. It's like you could get through the situation. You've been able to get through the situation. So you've gone through situations and then like you've been redirected. Gone through situations and been redirected. Like the levels of escalation haven't, like, it's really hard without coming off really like, I don't know, I guess ignorant. But let's see, like, this is a trigger warning, trauma warning. Say if you were in like domestic disputes, your energetic, karmic, spiritual boundary was that it would be maybe like shoving, pushing, something like that. What would have broken you would have been a domestic situation in which you ended up being, you know, like being pushed down steps, being burned, like getting, you know, hot water scalded on you, being, you know, thrown across something, or being punched into a glass wall, stuff like that. Like the levels of hardship that would have broken you was averted. Doesn't mean you didn't go through any hardship. It just means the severity of it could have been worse. And it's almost like fate stepped in to move that. You could have had, if we're talking about Saturn also, a lot of ancestors who may have gone through similar things or just could see the path ahead, and they really contributed to you. What is this? Like a little bead or something? It's a crown. That's kind of weird. Contributed to helping you get out of the situation. So if you, like, if you were in the midst of, like, trying, you know, like this, for somebody, leaving a bad relationship where there was, like, violence, trying to come up with the money for that, and feeling like you were put on pause and on hold until you can get out of that, and it's a very emotionally intense situation. And right when you feel like you have to give up or relent, like something changes and you get the money and you're able to move forward. Right? You have an opportunity to, like, purchase something, and then something happens, your account gets scammed, and it's a holding pattern, and you're feeling like, oh my God, like, what's happening? And you, right when you give up, the credit card approves of the dispute, and you're able to, like, continue forward. These situations, like, got averted from getting more intense, because what would have happened would have been very, it just would have been very, if the King of Swords wasn't there, yeah, it would have been very, very hard to recover from emotionally. One thing would be to never, like, compare your struggle to other people's, and that because you've gone through X, Y, and Z, and someone's gone through something else, that somehow you're undeserving of the blessings based on what you've had to overcome. Because you've also had to learn lessons and overcome things. You've also had to learn to take your growth seriously, or learn from lessons, right? It's not like just you get off scot-free every time. Like, there's some repercussions, some lessons that you gotta learn. So I think that, yeah, the clarity and the cycles that you wrapped up were the devils in your life that really bound and chained you. You know, not everyone's lesson is recovering from alcohol, or a severe domestic dispute, or child custody, or, you know, being paralyzed or losing a loved one. Like, some people's struggles, they look like depression, not being able to find work, not being able to connect with people, have friends, things like that. It may not be, it could be very internally focused issues that they're trying to work through, and that's their karma. Like, some people's internal issues, internal worlds, other things that they need to work through, versus some people's, like, karma and lessons come very, they're very externally focused, is what I'll say. But they're all things that we've overcome collectively as human beings. And so you should be proud of that. Okay, we have fixed, Aquarius, Jupiter. Your Jupiter may be in Aquarius with the star over there also. I don't know, you may want to watch Jupiter's reading. But whatever it is, it shook you up and allowed you to see some of the possibilities that existed for you. South Node. So some of you guys may have a South Node in Aquarius. Your Jupiter may be with your South Node. Your South Node may be a fixed sign. Your Jupiter may be a fixed sign. And then waning crescent moon. So it is a lot of reflection that you're doing at this time with this. So kind of just like a retrospective, I guess, of where you've been and what you've experienced and what you think and what you feel like you really don't need to repeat and really need to guard yourself against in terms of just naivete around it. Because you've experienced it, you know that the next time it comes around, if you don't learn the lesson, it's going to be harder to deal with, and it will lean more towards that it'll break you kind of thing if you do not learn to move forward with the lessons that you have. So it's going to be, some of them are going to be really hard. Like you may have very fixed attitudes about things, very stubborn, very unrelenting beliefs that perhaps you try to convince other people of, but you need to work and convince yourself. But yeah, that is what I have for you, Saturn. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the summertime. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.